And even before we start, the argument will never stop. We're just talking about, the things that we have to talk about. But now let's get serious as to what really we have put on the plate this morning. My guest for the morning, Yao Frimpong Ado, he's a member of parliament for Manso Edubia. Thanks for joining me. Manso Edubia, member of parliament, the man in blue. Are you going to the works this morning?
Oh, every Friday this is what.
Oh, this is what you wear. You look elegant, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, he's been joined by one of my favorite MPs as well, and Adam Mutawakilu. He's a member of parliament for Damango. For those of you in Damango watching him, I say to all of you, a very good morning to you as well. Thanks for joining me, Adam.
Thank you, the great one.
Okay, for many of you who don't know, he's called Gallows. When he was a DC in the area, the popular name everybody used to call him is Gallows. Gallows. All right, so I have to start with you, sir.
Right.
There's this thing about the IMF apparently giving Ghana the thumbs up for working within the scope of its bailout plan after its second review. And we already have a team that is led by an official of the IMF that visited Accra to conduct discussions on the second review of Ghana's financial and economic program with the IMF. And so far, they've given government thumbs up. The positive signs have been good. And they're saying ultimately the GDP they've pegged for the next financial year should be 5.8% as far as the growth is concerned. That should be good news for all of us because we all want improvement, don't we?
Sure. Thank you so much, and let me say good morning to your viewers. What else were you expecting from the IMF in this circumstance that we find ourselves? There is no way the IMF, looking at what is happening in the country right now, will go and say that, look, Ghana has failed to meet the targets that we set for them. There's no way the IMF will do that. Because, seriously speaking, Ghana went to the IMF, I would say, under duress. Because the goalpost kept shifting. We said it long ago that where we had gotten to, Ghana needed a bailout. My brothers and their people refused that reality and said that no, it's a homegrown program, Senche, and all those things. and they painted a very nice picture about our situation in Ghana. And ultimately, we went for it. It has been about 1 year now, and when we are coming to review a policy that was so unpopular, that was so controversial, you dare not talk about negativities.
But you're not saying that the IMF is a stooge of the government of
No. Far from that. You see, if an IMF is implementing a program in any country, the IMF is one of the Bretton Woods institutions. It belongs to all of us, the whole world. I mean, we are members of the IMF. So there's no way I can refer to them as stooges of the government. Ghana has gone for IMF packages over the years. But sometime 2006, 2007, there was a conscious effort to wean ourselves from the IMF. We succeeded in winning ourselves from the IMF. You see, we go to the IMF and those Bretton Woods institutions, when you have not been able to manage your fiscal environment, that's why we go there.
So you're saying that in the first place we failed in the first place?
Seriously, I mean, everything was.
So no matter what the recommendations are, it's something we don't have to pay heed to?
At all. I mean, there's no way you
almost like much ado about nothing.
Thank you. That is the correct description. Because, look, at what cost? These produce they are giving to the country, at what cost? Can you imagine that if this country were to support the education sector, especially teacher training colleges? Look, now, I call this regime a lazy regime because we've almost removed every subsidy.
You call the regime a what?
A lazy regime. If you
the Mahama-led administration.
Oh yes. If you remove every subsidy, so what are you there for? You say you are social democrats. Yours is not wealth creation. Yours is to spread the resources of this country, the wealth of this country, equitably. And now, the things that you need to do, you see, a government should sweat to give subsidy to the vulnerable. Every government. It is a social responsibility. So if I was aspiring to go to teacher training college and I voted for the NDC, and in my first year or second year, I'm slapped with a policy that every assistant that I get as a teacher trainee should be withdrawn because an institution somewhere says that we cannot afford that thing. Then I will tell myself that, look, the social contract I signed with this regime for me to push them there, to give them the power, to ensure that socially I get somewhere. That social contract is broken. And there's no way I will support that regime because he has not been fair to me at all. And secondly, you see, if you're a government and all you do is to ensure that you will not provide a cushion for the poor and vulnerable, you remove everything. Now you see it
depends on what you mean by cushions, because we have a number of programs that have been continued from the MPP. We have LEAP.
You see,
we have NHI services that are provided for certain.
I had some documents.
For example, children of school going still take the mass transit transport almost as subsidized.
You see, have you done some study of late? Maybe you go out there.
Are you talking about the number of people who patronize those services?
You go out there and sample the views of Ghanaians. I am a social scientist, so this thing I do it on a daily basis. You see, you look at your circumstance yesterday, and then today, then you compare whether you are moving forward or you are.
Okay.
You are
supposed to be your preliminary question. You've taken 10 minutes of my time. That's okay.
Oh really? Okay. Let me run up. What I'm saying is that the IMF should not come and tell us that we are doing well. We Ghanaians living in this country, know the kind of heat that we are suffering. You see, we are suffering some serious heat that it shouldn't take the IMF to come and tell us that we are doing well.
Okay.
I mean, you can say whatever, but if physically I am feeling the heat, you can come and give all the figures.
Well, all that the IMF is saying that we're coming from a certain bad state. Now we're improving as far as that is concerned.
At what cost?
Getting ourselves out. We haven't finished the discussion on the IMF, so just relax over it.
Thank you very much.
But the thing is, it doesn't resonate positively in the ears of, I don't know, I should say the ordinary Ghanaian, but the critics of government, so to speak.
Thank you very much, and good morning to our cherished viewers, and more especially the good people of Damongo constituencies. Since my brother wants to look at IMF and see if it's a political organization, that how will they do? They will definitely praise the government.
The government's been praised by IMF. What do you expect them to say?
IMF, in the entry into the program, set up certain targets every quarter. And they come to do it and measure it to those targets. It's not like they just came in, look at it, and decided to praise. No. They have targets. They expect that by the end of the year, this will be the target. By half year next year, this should be by the end of next year. They have it, which we have agreed. And no country can say that we've win ourselves out of IMF, because every country is like a human being. It's like you saying that I've come out of sickness, I will never fall sick. The world is a global world. There can be external shocks that will affect the country. So that one, somebody say we have win ourselves out of IMF is not true. Who told you in 2008 the economy was better when we're selling our assets to pay salaries? So what I'm saying is that,
but as far as the numbers
IMF has come
the numbers
to
speak positively for themselves.
The numbers.
Okay, you continue the argument.
No, I wanted
me too.
The numbers.
It's just the rate of inflation. You take
in 2008. In 2008, it was 18%. As we speak, inflation is not yet 18%.
If you grow at
so
8.4%,
let's look at. So when the IMF came and assessed in May, they came and assessed for the first quarter, and that was okay, even though there were some variations. Then this one, they came and assessed and realized that we're doing very well, even though the rate is not very good. Let's say we are achieving it, but we should be moving at a certain rate. And they anticipated that by the end of next year, our deficit in respect of GDP should be about 5.3, with their target of 5.8. So that means we are even beating that down. And that is a good sign and a signal to Ghanaians that we are on the right path to success. You see, when you come to talk about teacher training, and say government.
Another incentives.
Let me come to this.
For example, they have to pay electricity bills.
Now, just one example.
Let me come. I have 15 kids. I can subsidize for 9. So that means I will subsidize for 9 of my kids. The remaining 6 should go and look for their own.
You are saying that's a scenario. My point?
I'm setting a scenario. Or I said, okay, let me widen the facility for all of you to be able to take advantage of that. That is the variation. Teacher training colleges could enroll 9,000 every year with allowances. Several people were denied because of the quotation, because of the allowances. They have to take 9,000. Whether the applicants are more or less, cut off 9,000. Several people were denied access to teacher training. The government said, okay, if it is the allowances, that is inhibiting us from taking more. Let's relax it, take it off, and widen it. And as today, we have over 15,000 teacher trainees. They are there. So should the government say, okay, let me introduce the allowance, let's cut off back to 9,000. That is not a progression. So it was a choice, either to give everybody the opportunity to have teacher training education or to still restrict it. So there are a lot of choices that one has to take in arriving at those conclusions. So it's not just blanket, as you said. So in all, you realize that as a country, we are forging ahead. And hopefully by next year, a lot of fruits would have been ready for us. So Ghanaians, we need you to support our president to achieving this objective.
One-time rector of GIMPA, Professor Stephen Ade, is quoted as saying that we seem to be a country of free things, but do we realize that as a country, we're in a state where our finances haven't been good? I know you say it's because of poor management of our finances. Okay. At the end of the day, once we get to that realization, it means that we have to make sure we win ourselves off. Because even in the developing world, nothing is free. It's their taxes that they use in paying us.
You see, I appreciate where he's coming from. Me, from my tradition, I'm a liberal democrat. I wouldn't assume the position of a social democrat because I cannot satisfy the conditions of social democracy. You understand? A liberal democrat, I create wealth and I spread wealth. That's a liberal democrat. You create and you spread. You just don't stop a policy for certain group of people just because you think that we are a country of freebies. We give freebies. No, we don't do that. You need to plan systematically. You see, this issue of health insurance, you do some sample of some communities and ask them whether the kind of health insurance that they used to have is what they're having right now.
You're saying the quality is poor?
The quality is gone down considerably. You see, and
but a lot more people are accessing.
You see, that is the fallacy.
You're saying it's not the truth?
You see, if, for example, you register 1,000 people on a program and you cannot provide the services, what is the use of registering them? Wholesale registration. Look, what we are discussing right now, it is not the three of us sitting in this studio, the comfort of this studio, who should determine the veracity, the truthfulness or otherwise of what we are discussing. The people out there, they feel it. You see, so if you are a government and you are bringing a policy, you need to do some serious analysis that, hey, have you gotten to a stage that we can take off this program?
Is it your idea that because we went to the IMF and because of the conditionalities, now Ghanaians are less the better?
Yes, we have become poorer. We've become poorer. Look.
Is it not rather we better manage our finances, then the economy begins to get out of this very recession in which we find ourselves?
You see, it's a vicious cycle. The IMF, you go to the library and research
on the Bretton Woods institutions.
Oh, Bretton Woods institutions. That if any country has successfully gone through their program and they have been on the way up in development. You see, it's a vicious cycle. Look, at the moment, because of the policy of, they say what, net freeze on employment. Do you know how this thing is affecting revenue mobilization in this country? The net freeze on employment. Government is not employing, apart from, they say, essential places like health and education. Even education, the backlog. I'm telling you, you'll be amazed that some people have completed school, they don't have places to place them, you see. And if you have a country like that, where income tax is a major component of the revenue base, and because you are not employing, the people are going on retirement. So you tell me that you are going to do this when I satisfy that condition, then you mark me, correct.
Okay.
But you don't think about the future of this country, because
you are saying that's where we're heading.
That is where we are.
Now,
because unemployment is a major national security issue.
Now, conclude on this for me.
Right?
Unfortunately, I have to give you less time. I'll give you only 2 minutes.
Thank you. When people say national health insurance is collapsing, it has what? They started this since 2009 with their flag bearer announcing national health insurance has collapsed, and up to date, we have not buried it. 2, we agree there are challenges because the revenue we get and the turnout, the expenditure do not match. As of January, government has settled all that National Health Insurance has submitted for 2014. However, there was a shortfall because the attendance of people far outweighs what we received. So there was a difference of almost $109 million. And therefore, there was the need to review it, to look at it. If what you are getting and the services of people, the payment is vast, then we need to look at it. We say yes, we'll look at it and see how to do it. But whereby you just say it is this or that, look, what brought about youth employment? I realized in 2001, you registered a massive youth. Youth employment came about because most of the youth were not employed, and therefore they need to get them and get small. So don't
and
behave
get
as
some
if,
hands-on skills.
so don't behave as if your time the jobs were there. Anybody who came out from the university or any of the level had the opportunity.
But the truth is, we need to be creating jobs.
Yes.
And
jobs,
going to the IMF, to the IMF doesn't open the gate or give you the leeway to be opening, to be creating jobs.
Creating jobs is not only government. We need to create enterprises, and that is why the years came up. Support people to set up businesses. When they set up, they will absorb some. So the matter of looking at only government organization, no. The president is looking wider than just only government.
All right.
And that is why we
so
create
the two of you are saying that IMF commendation not critical, not important, but he's saying it's critical.
It's very, very important.
But let's move on to this very side.